Hello, and welcome to this introductory webinar. Thank you for your interest in the Mitigation Action Facilities Call for Projects 2026. The purpose of this webinar is to provide a clear overview of the Mitigation Action Facility and introduce the 2026 Call for Projects. We'll walk you through the overall process, timeline, and new features of this call. At the end of this webinar, we'll also highlight resources and guidance materials available to support you in developing your project concept. Here's how the webinar is structured. We'll begin with a short introduction on the Mitigation Action Facility, what the fund is, and how it works. Then we'll move into the Call for Projects 2026, and after that, we'll outline the eligibility requirements for applicants and the assessment criteria. Finally, we'll explain how to apply. Now that we've covered the structure of today's webinar, let's take a closer look at the Mitigation Action Facility in a nutshell. The Mitigation Action Facility, which evolved from the NAMA facility in 2022, serves as a go-to platform for technical support and climate finance, reflecting recent developments in the international climate finance landscape. The rebranding of the Mitigation Action Facility was officially announced at COP27 in Egypt while celebrating the NAMA facility's 10th anniversary. One of the biggest challenges we face today is the climate finance gap, which limits the pace and scale of achieving global climate goals. The Mitigation Action Facility addresses this gap by providing technical and financial support to drive innovative solutions and unlock large scale investments in low carbon development. The Mitigation Action Facilities approach develop, demonstrate, deploy, and decarbonize is not just a theoretical framework. It has delivered tangible results with 60 projects supported across 38 countries. This success is driven by strong partnerships and the facility's unique model, which integrates financial and technical assistance to turn ambitious ideas into impactful climate action. The Mitigation Action Facility provides funding to develop financial mechanisms and deliver technical assistance to tackle wider policy, regulatory, or other barriers that inhibit investment and constrain carbon neutral development. This dual approach ensures that both the financial and technical barriers to climate action are effectively addressed. Our work focuses on three key sectors: energy, transport, and industry, including renewable energy supply, energy efficiency improvements and retrofits, e-mobility and urban transport systems, heavy and light industry, and production processes. Together, these sectors are responsible for 73% of global annual greenhouse gas emissions. Through annual competitive calls, we support ambitious, high impact mitigation projects that help countries implement their nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. To see how projects in our portfolio are being implemented, we invite you to visit the projects page on our website. The Mitigation Action Facility provides grant-based funding for transformational climate action projects that contribute to global emissions reduction. But we offer more than just funding. By combining technical expertise with financial resources, we help projects develop with the best chance to move into the implementation phase. In addition, the facility supports the creation of enabling policy and regulatory environments, removing barriers to investment, and strengthening long term climate action. Let's turn to the 2026 call for projects. In this section, we'll guide you through the stages, project cycle, and timeline. The call for projects 2026 follows a three-stage process with the ultimate goal being the full implementation of your mitigation action facility project. In the concept phase, applicants generate and submit an initial project idea. During the detailed preparation phase, the DPP, a portion of MAF funding is available to develop a thorough project proposal. Finally, in the implementation phase, successful projects receive the full MAF funding and technical support needed to bring ambitious mitigation projects to life. The project cycle provides an overview of the decision-making process and clarifies who is responsible for what at each stage. The concept phase runs from November 14, 2025 to February 25, 2026, and is the mandatory first step to be considered under the Call for Projects 2026. Key milestones within the project cycle are shown here, including the assessment of concepts, the pitching process, which we'll cover in later slides, and the detailed preparation phase. These dates are tentative guidance for applicants. For more details on the project cycle, please refer to the General Information document for this call. With that overview in mind, let's move on to the general features that shape this year's call. We continue to focus on priority sectors, energy, transport, and industry, or cross-sectoral projects linked to one of these areas. Projects should support the implementation of nationally determined contributions (NDCs) in the context of NDC 3.0, taking into account long-term strategies, UNFCCC processes, and global cooperation initiatives like the NDC partnership. The call has a total funding volume of up to 100 million euros with a maximum of 25 million euros per project. Funding is grant-based and combines technical assistance and financial support aimed at market-based, sustainable, and scalable solutions. Both public and private actors are welcome to submit their project concepts. Now that we have covered the general features of the call, let's turn to what's new for 2026. In this section, we'll highlight the key refinements and changes designed to make the process more effective, streamlined, and supportive for applicants. The project cycle has been streamlined, so the project outline phase is no longer included. Instead, additional information will now be requested during the concept phase. In addition to the desk assessment by the TSU and external experts, up to 25 applicants will be invited to the pitch, where they will virtually present their concepts. This step replaces what was previously part of the outline phase, formerly known as the in-depth assessment. The DPP is now capped at up to 12 months, providing applicants with an accelerated timeline to reach the implementation phase. This call also features a fast track pathway for potential projects. Mature projects with demonstrated readiness and strong government commitment can bypass the DPP and proceed directly to develop and submit a complete proposal for assessment and implementation consideration. This is assessed on a case by case basis by the Board of the Mitigation Action Facility. For more details, please refer to the General Information document for the Call for Projects 2026. For this 2026 call, we are seeking Lighthouse pilot projects. This is an optional additional modality alongside the main modality mitigation action facility projects, building on and replacing the former piloting modality from previous calls. Lighthouse pilot projects are designed to test innovative mitigation technologies such as tidal stream energy generation, green hydrogen based production, or reactive power compensation systems. They follow a structured approach to capturing and sharing lessons so that insights can benefit multiple countries and sectors. Lighthouse pilot projects are meant to take calculated risks and demonstrate what is possible beyond the current state of practice. By acting as frontrunners, they illuminate opportunities for replication and inspire broader sectoral transformation. Each concept submitted as a potential Lighthouse pilot project will be reviewed by the TSU to assess its alignment with the Lighthouse pilot principles. These principles guide the assessment and include several key elements. First, the project should demonstrate the use of innovative technologies either globally or within the local context. It should also include a strong knowledge generation and learning component. Lighthouse pilot projects follow the same application and selection process as other MAF projects, but their assessment criteria are as follows. For the ambition criterion, the project should demonstrate high ambition by showcasing an innovative technology that is first of its kind globally or within a specific sector or country context. And for the feasibility criterion, the project must be practical, achievable, and capable of delivering meaningful results within a reasonable time frame. Finally, successful lighthouse pilots should have strong potential for replication and scaling after implementation so that they can inspire broader sectoral transformation. For the 2026 call, the Mitigation Action Facility is also introducing technical cooperation support for carbon market readiness. This aims to help countries build capacity, develop frameworks, and strengthen infrastructure in line with Article 6.4 of the Paris Agreement. Support can cover areas such as methodology development, regulatory and legal frameworks, and interfaces between the public sector and carbon markets. It's important to note that mitigation outcomes financed through MAF's technical cooperation funds, including ODA eligible climate finance, must not directly generate internationally transferable or tradable emission credits for use in government or company compliance markets. A clear separation between ODA eligible climate finance and the compliance carbon market must be ensured. More details on the eligibility to use MAF funding for carbon credit related aspects can be found in the Carbon Market Policy paper. When submitting a project concept, there are certain eligibility requirements and assessment criteria that all applicants need to meet. In this section, we'll walk you through what's required to ensure your concept can be considered and how it will be evaluated. To be considered under the 2026 Call for Projects, all project concepts must meet the following eligibility requirements. First, concepts must be submitted on time by the closure of the concept phase as communicated by the Mitigation Action Facility. Projects should focus on one of three priority sectors: energy, transport, or industry, or be cross-sectoral but linked to one of these sectors. All mandatory fields in the concept template must be completed, and information must be provided in English. Projects must be located in countries that are ODA eligible according to the OECD DAC list for the entire envisaged implementation period. The requested funding volume for implementation should be in the range of 5 to 25 million euros, excluding DPP funding, with an envisaged implementation duration of 3 to 5.5 years. Finally, each applicant may submit up to 6 project concepts. Let's now look at who can submit a project concept for the 2026 call. Project concepts can be submitted by a national ministry in cooperation with an applicant support partner or ASP, a legal entity, or a partnership of legal entities and a national ministry. By the time of the pitch, an ASP must be identified for projects that require one. The ASP acts as the contractual partner for the detailed preparation phase, ensuring that all capacity requirements and eligibility criteria are met. It's important to note that during the concept phase, applicants do not need to meet all capacity or eligibility requirements. However, if a project is selected for the pitch, any applicant lacking full capacity will need to establish a partnership with an ASP under the ASP's leadership to move forward into the DPP. Please refer to Annex 3 of the General Information document for more information on the eligibility of applicants. Once a project concept is submitted, it will be evaluated against two main types of assessment criteria: ambition and feasibility. Under ambition, the focus is on the potential for transformational change, which refers to the project's ability to create lasting, system-wide shifts towards carbon neutral pathways by addressing key barriers and creating demonstration effects that can be scaled or replicated. The financial ambition of the project includes the effective mobilization of public and private sector investment and the sustainability and scalability of financial flows. In addition, the project's mitigation potential will be assessed, considering the expected impact on reducing greenhouse gas emissions both directly and indirectly, and alignment with national and international climate targets. The feasibility criteria Look at the project's rationale and design. For the rationale, assessors will consider how well the project addresses sectoral barriers, whether the scope and target groups are appropriate, and how the project aligns with other ongoing initiatives. For project design, the evaluation examines the robustness of the financial mechanism and institutional setup, the use of suitable technologies for sector wide transformation, stakeholder and partner cooperation, and the overall technical and financial feasibility to ensure the project can deliver meaningful results. Let's take a closer look at the assessment process and how it fits into the project cycle. In month one, we launched a call opening the opportunity for applicants to submit their project concepts. Following submission, the concepts undergo a desk assessment by the TSU and external experts. Next comes the pitch, a key step in the concept phase. Up to 25 applicants will be invited to virtually present their concepts, replacing what was previously known as the in-depth assessment. The pitch is an opportunity to highlight your project's potential for impact alongside the project's stakeholders. After the pitch, the board of the Mitigation Action Facility selects the projects that will advance to the detailed preparation phase. Applicants will then be notified and required to submit a DPP concept and budget, which is followed by the formal approval for the DPP selection. For more detailed information on the timing and steps of the assessment process, please refer to the General Information document and the Frequently Asked Questions for the Call for Projects 2026. The next important step is submitting your project concept. This is done via the Open Application platform. You can use the QR code on this slide to go directly to the application page. The application period runs from November 14, 2025 to February 25, 2026, giving you about 3.5 months to submit. Please note that the platform will close at 3 p.m. Central European Time on the deadline date. No annexes or supplementary documents are required at this stage, just your completed online concept template. For more details, you can visit the call page on the Mitigation Action Facility's website, where you'll find all relevant guidance and resources. For all details specific to the 2026 Call for Projects, applicants should consult the General Information Document or GID. Currently, the GID is available in English, and additional translations in Spanish, French, and Arabic will be available soon. This document contains all the guidance and information you need to prepare and submit a successful project concept. As you may know, the Mitigation Action Facility is not just a funding platform, it's also a knowledge and learning hub. We publish a range of useful resources for both applicants and the wider climate community. On this slide, we've highlighted the resources that are particularly important for applicants, while the next slide lists other helpful resources. All of these materials have been linked here for your convenience and can also be accessed in the download library on our website. Let's have a brief look at what's next. We will be publishing a pre-recorded webinar in early December where we'll take a deep dive into lessons learned from the previous call for projects and provide a tutorial on navigating the open application platform. We also encourage you to visit our website where you will find this presentation as well as the recording of today's webinar, which we will upload in the coming days. Of course, you can always reach out to us at the following email address: contact@mitigation-action.org if you have any further questions. And finally, if you are planning to submit a project concept, please remember the deadline is February 25th, 2026 at 3 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you for watching our webinar. For more updates, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters to stay informed about the latest news. We look forward to receiving your project concepts and working with you to drive ambitious climate action.